My name is Alexandra Ruiz, and I am truly honored to be part of this program. I am a very proud founder of the organization Immigration Advocacy Matters, currently serving as the executive director, and also really excited to be part of the staff at the Center for Ethnic, Racial, and Religious Understanding. So I.A.M offers a variety of programs that serve the immigrant community in Queens. I am particularly excited and encouraged to talk about a particular program called Conversation Mixers, which I'll get to a little bit later on in my presentation. And hopefully, this will cooperate. Excellent, okay. So through my work, I have always struggled to find ways to engage the community at large in the issue of immigration. How do you engage individuals that have no connection to the issue of immigration? How do you get them to care? How do you empower immigrants while teaching non-immigrants the struggles, the complexity of the immigration system, the cultural differences that we have, the similarities? In 2009, SB 1070 was passed by the state of Arizona. Some of you may know the law to be the Show Me Your Papers law. It gave state and local police officers the power to check a person's status if there was what they called reasonable suspicion. And it required immigrants to carry their papers with them at all times. In other words, it legalized racial profiling. So when I saw this, I was shocked. I was outraged. And yet, what shocked me the most was that no one I knew really cared that this was happening. Because in my mind, racial profiling was an American issue. So I couldn't comprehend why I was the only one, it felt like, angry about this. The racial profiling issue affected all Americans. So shortly thereafter, I learned very quickly, especially as we began fundraising for I.A.M, how racially charged and polarizing the issue of immigration had become in this country. It seemed like only those that were affected by these unjust laws were the ones advocating. And somewhere along the lines, immigrants became the enemy. They were vilified in their own communities, in their neighborhoods, in the very communities that they helped build, in the very communities that they helped grow. So I wondered why. I expressed my frustration to a very good friend of mine who happened to be an attorney. I shared with her the story of a friend who was brought to this country by his parents at a very young age, and he had no pathway to citizenship. He was what you call a dreamer. She asked quite innocently, "I don't understand, Alex. Why doesn't he just become legal?" And that's when I realized something. She did not understand, and she had no idea what the process of becoming a citizen entailed. It was then that I began to understand the lack of education on the part of Americans when it comes to the immigration issue. And this is a really big part of the problem. So here we had a well-educated American citizen, and she had no idea of the tribulations of the immigration system, a system that affects over 12 million people in this country. The majority of people in this country do not realize that people do not choose to be illegal. They simply don't have a choice. So as we continue to solidify our vision, we believe that part of our mission was not just to empower immigrants, but to help educate and help people understand. Easy, right? So we began with our ESL program, which took students out of the classroom and into the community. And this is really at the heart of our program. We went on library trips, restaurant visits, community tours, and the list goes on. And for many of our students, this was a life-changing experience. When you come from a foreign country and you don't speak the language, your entire life is dictated by fear. And as someone who was not born in this country, I understand that fear. So to be able to help break down those barriers was at the heart of our ESL program. And we were constantly encouraging our students to take their learning out of the classroom. Part of our ESL program, one of the biggest components of our ESL program, was the involvement of English language speakers. So it was important that we constantly had volunteers in the classroom engaging with our students. But that was not enough. We realized that there was a missing link here. So in 2011, we thought about this link, and we realized that in order to accomplish our vision, we needed not just to engage immigrants, or in the context of the ESL program, English language learners, but we needed to have greater involvement from English language speakers, or people that considered themselves solely American. So we decided to focus our energy and our attention on conversation mixers. So conversation mixers, for those of you that have never heard the term before, conversation mixers are social events that allowed ESL students to freely converse with English language speakers. Volunteers would act as facilitators of conversation, and they would take part in creating the course of where the conversation went within the context of a theme. So this innovative approach for us helped us really unlock the power of dialogue as it relates to immigrant integration. But most importantly, it really helped us reimagine and reshape our approach to immigration advocacy. So our motto became integration through education. Integration, when you look at the word, I think it's a very empowering word. Integration means the incorporation of equals into society, or an organization of individuals of different groups as races. So the idea that through dialogue, through something as simple as a conversation, we can come together as equals, doing so through education, education of each other's language, education of each other's rituals, education of each other's religion. Because when you get down to it, we're really not that different. We all want the same things. We all want to be safe. We all want to live a happy life. We all want an education, food for our children. So our philosophy as an organization was really a return to our American roots and the rich history of people who came to this nation and made it what it is today. So in trying to further this initiative of integration through education, we partnered up with Queens College, Pace University, the New School, and St. John's University. And we partnered up through their respective academic service learning programs, and we had a lot more volunteers come into our classrooms to converse with our students so that each ESL student was speaking one-on-one with an English language speaker. One of our biggest conversation mixers was the one at St. John's University. We partnered up with a freshman philosophy class and an English class of 45 students. Our students had the opportunity to tour the St. John's University campus. For our students, most of them, if not all of them, it was the first time that they had set foot on a college campus. For the St. John's students, most of them, believe it or not, University in Queens, it was the first time that they had spoken candidly to a person from a different country. So after exchanging conversations, both students reflected. Many St. John's students admitted that they had a major shift in the perspective of immigrants. Many talked about their misconceptions about immigrants, and how they realize that, wow, they really want to learn English. And they work very hard, and they share some of the same goals and dreams that I have. One particular student described herself as a conservative, and believe it or not, she wrote a very compelling paper on how she had really changed her mind on the issue of immigration. On our end, we had one of our students, her name is Pili Carvajal. She was the keynote speaker at our 2012 gala. And this experience inspired her to apply to college. And as you can see, she got in. And other students moved on to not to all English-speaking jobs. So I say all that to say that immigration advocacy begins with fostering understanding. When Martin Luther King set out to lead the civil rights movement, he was able to engage people of all colors and all faiths. As advocates for immigration reform, it is essential that we never stop talking and we never stop educating. The power of dialogue, especially as it pertains to immigrant integration, lies in the ability to inspire people to connect, to inspire them to see beyond the limiting misconceptions. But most importantly, the power of dialogue lies in its ability to help people embrace the possibility of change. Thank you very much.